Everybody, I want to thank you for following me, and I just got another question about what's Quakerism, so I'm going to remind you. For those of you who have not followed, thanks for joining. For those of you that are following, well, you know where I am in the heart of Quakerism. And with that being said, Quaker churches, we describe us as the friendly, casual, and inclusive. Popular church music that we have is the styles are including of traditional hymns, contemporary, and personal reverent. Quaker churches, the offering of it is community service, social justice, children's ministries, adult education, and we have mission programs. I go out and I do missionary work, which is, for instance, my vehicle full of food, blankets, and positivity. My vehicle is warm, it's clean, and, well, at most times, it's a safe place to be. When it's not, those are the times that I travel on. Because I roll with Jesus in Gypsy. Of course, you know Jesus was a gypsy, right? Excuse me, I was asked the other day, do you celebrate holidays? Every day is a holiday. Jesus is alive every day. With that being said, what I do promote is social justice. We all have rights, and we're all being denied our fundamental rights, human rights, civil rights, disability rights, constitutional rights, and many more rights. It's time to stand up and make a difference. We've gone on 2 years of fighting this COVID. COVID, you call it what you want. I call it made up bullshit. What I strongly believe and I promote is revelation. Jesus was here the first time, and he's back. Those of you that don't believe, I feel for you. I pray for you. I pray for the man that's trying to make it a little bit further down the road in that broken down vehicle. He's still making it, and he's out here promoting the word just like I am. I don't see anybody trying to cut him a break, and you don't see anybody helping him. He's got 2 tires on the roof of his vehicle. He's got a muffler falling off, and he just asked if he could visit for a few minutes at the truck stop in their parking lot, sit there and wait, because he was just pulled over and harassed by a police officer. Now, because he's got a loud muffler, with all these hard times out here, don't you understand that people have rights? And therefore, it's time. Stand up for your rights. So here I am. I'm going to start out with just telling you, Quakerism is real, so is Jesus. For you, those God-fearing people and that claim that you live under the laws, fundamental laws of your rights, and you follow Jesus, well, I have a different opinion about that. And I also have a list of churches that I'm going to talk about. The first one is, there was a church on Church Street in Anson, okay? And as a child, it went Reverend Getz. Reverend Stephen Getz. And nothing to say about him other than he was the Reverend, and he said it was okay when my grandfather got charged for sexual assault underage, okay? Excuse me. Through Somerset County Sheriff's Department, all right? So knowing that, the Church of Anson was approving pedophilia back then, it came to light that Pastor Skip Gleason, Francis Skip Gleason, who is still in Anson. Look him up. Morning Sentinel. On Google if you have to, or go to the office and ask him for the transcript. Or call Somerset County Sheriff's Department and ask them if they still have a copy or if they deleted it. Skip Gleason is from the Anson community. He was a pastor after Reverend Getz passed away. Okay? And he gave a statement. Open, what, testimony is it? Skip? About how he molested a male under the age of 17. Mind you, Skip Gleason used to be a teacher at Garrett Skank. Did he ever get in trouble for that? Keith Partridge never did get in trouble for any of his frivolous acts either. So then you got Pastor Paul King in Skowhegan on the North Avenue. Okay. North Avenue Church. Beautiful corner church. Taken over by Pastor Paul King and his dope dealing boys. And don't tell me they're not, because they attend Freedom Fest, Freedom Field, out in Harmony. I used to go out there, not because of the drugs, but because I offered food to those who were messed up on drugs, hoping to deter them from doing the drugs, because they promote marijuana. But there's a whole lot more going on out there. There's been a whole lot of calls of rape and everything. Isn't that right, Somerset County Sheriff's Department? So anybody can Google that information. That's called the Free Street Church by Pastor Paul King. Okay? Now and again, I know some of the people that attend that place, and it was told to me that they were shut down or they weren't approved by the town for this reason or that reason. Well, they shouldn't be. And why? Just my example. What had they ever done to help us? I was in despair. I get frivolously displaced because my home got burned down after it was condemned, after a claim of abandonment. Oh, well, that's what I got in an email, text message, instant message, whatever you want to fucking call it, okay? But I received that message from somebody that calls themselves Ash Princess, okay? So, being in despair, but not really, because I was staying at the hotel, and I got kicked out before my stay was up because somebody lied and said that I was smoking cigarettes there. Well, that was just a front and a reason for them to want me to leave, because why? Because all of you people that are involved, and I know you're watching, Somerset County Sheriff's Department, Skowhegan PD, Paul York, all of them involved in wanting me to leave town. Of course, Michelle Cummings, Joel Cummings' new wife, all that, right? So what you did was a favor for me, because I met Pastor Paul's Kingdom of Disciples, and they took from me. They also got from me, instead of offering, hey, would you like a place to prepare this food? No, they were very glad to take all my fresh fruits and vegetables and meat. So they're not givers, they're not helpers, they're takers. So if they're not up and running, that would be why. Okay? And then you got Pastor Jen from Dr. Man Road. I really feel sorry for the situation. She's thriving and she's doing, I think, what she can. I don't think that she understands that she's up against the enemy and that the devil is walking in through her door every time she invites Pastor Sharon in. Pastor Sharon is from the North Anson Church, the Methodist Church, across from the empty parking lot of the hill of the Quaker cemetery that's been abandoned and dissolute and not cared for since back in the 1800s. Okay? She is no kind of pastor in my eyes. She's a devil's disciple and advocate. And I'm going to tell you that because during COVID, Now, if you believe in God and that God is a provider, why are you going to tell your disciples to cover their face with a mask because the government said there's a COVID when it's actually what I consider revelation? So anybody that went to church or was denied church service in person because of COVID, you're no Christian in my eyes. She wasn't even offering the brunches, let alone to eat in or take out, but at all. Okay, so knowing that they have elderly people in need that probably grew up in that church, I say, being the supervisor of mental health services, crisis and counseling, I wouldn't go to that church for anything, because that's a coven for the devil. So knowing that she's friends with Pastor Jen, and they all knew that my daughter was missing, then we go back to Old Point Avenue Church in Madison. Carol reached out to me months after my daughter's been found and said that, oh, she noticed it is up on the board months ago about my daughter being missing. Well, Carol, why didn't you reach out to me when she was missing? Nobody did. So that's Old Point Avenue School. The only person there that's in good faith with me is Kay Pullen. Kay Pullen I've known since I was a little girl, and she's known my kids since they were little girls. She knew my family. She's a Christian woman, and she even said, it's Revelations, Kim. So knowing that the pastor of the Old Point Church is involved with the assistants in the Log Cabin Church, Claus Corner, Madison, headed towards Skowhegan, or if you're coming from Skowhegan, heading towards Madison. Okay, I walked in on him praying on somebody, and I say praying on somebody. He was standing there belittling a woman in despair. Okay, saying that he was praying for her. No, he was not. He was praying on her. He didn't help her in any goddamn way. She had gone in there in shambles, and she was a mess. And I took her in. That's what Quakers do. And then, so we have Pastor Jeff. Fucking Jeff, right? From Four Squares Church, Norwich Walk Road, Skowhegan. When I went to him with my truths of what's happening out here about the home being burned down, Pam at the church as my witness, you know, he tried to make it out to be that I was a liar and that I was psychotic. So I went to Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and I got an evaluation done at the hospital to prove I'm not psychotic. They had 2 doctors come in to talk to me. 2 psych-evaluating doctors come in to talk to me. I'm not psychotic. I tell the truth. And that's why y'all hate on me. So, knowing that that pastor, I wouldn't trust him. He works for crisis and counseling as well, or he did. Okay? And he was not advocating for me, even though I gave him the proof and facts of information. He tried to make it out to be like, shh, let's silence this girl. Even noted that I'm playing with the high rollers. I'm not playing with anybody. I'm exploiting what happened and everybody that was behind what happened to me. So that's Pastor Jeff of Four Squares, and he's involved in crisis and counseling. So, with that being said, we're going to go to another male pastor. A male pastor at Green Mountain Bible Church in Island Pond, Vermont. Yeah, stay away from there. Okay, that'd be my opinion. And all his disciples. Now, they have a clothing store, shop, free for the taking, and also donation. Okay, I used to go there and get clothes for people and ladies, and my daughter did as well, for those that couldn't make it out. We also helped people with family photos, dinners, and more. That was in Island Pond, Vermont. He knew everything that was going on in Island Pond, Vermont. He knows everything that happened in Island Pond, Vermont, because every time it happened and it started going on, we reached out to him, left him messages, and emailed the church. Not only that, but that troll, Karen, that runs the little donating thrift store downstairs. Well, of course, it's only a community of 800 anyways, and so it only, like 250 socialize, okay? Because the rest of them are adult, immobile, stuck inside, or they're the 12 tribes or their children. So, with that being said, the community is quite small in Island Pond, Vermont. And noting that this Karen Kinney troll that lived in the house right beside the Beehive, the apartment house where my daughter and I resided last year in 2021, she was very frivolous. She's no kind of Christian. I'd stay away from that church. She lies. She makes up stories. And that's all I'm going to say about that right now, because it's a court case. And then we have another pastor in St. Johnsbury, Vermont. Claims to be a pastor. God-fearing. Everything is for males. Well, anybody that believes that God is anybody that's a saint, anybody that would sacrifice their child is no God of mine. Okay? Anybody that survived the bullshit and is still standing strong, coming back, stronger every time, that's a brother or sister of mine. Let's talk about some more pastors. Oh yeah, that same pastor, he's got this big church. Well, back in 2006, 2007, I had to apply as a member to go to that church, and I was denied. Yeah. So why was I denied? Because I didn't make enough money, and because I was a single mother. I wasn't single. I was divorced from bullshit. And as a result of that, let me give you an example. That same church took a piece of property from a male that passed away. Became very friendly to him right before he passed away. The male was a male named John that lived in Groveton, New Hampshire. Okay, so just as soon as he passed away, the pastor and his wife take control of his finances, the property, and kicked the male's girlfriend, long time companion, out of the house with no place to go. So that would be the pastor of St. Johnsbury, Vermont, okay? Right there, heading towards Passumpsic. Big white church. He used to be out by Route 2, going into Concord. So then we have another pastor in Newport, Vermont. It's a female pastor. I don't remember her name. But she's up on the hill in that big Catholic church. She's no good either. Then we have who else? I think that's about it for now. So, noting that I've just told you about the pastors and their frivolous acts, maybe it's time to check into Quakers, because we're not discriminational. We stand up for people. We help people. We go out of our way to help people. We don't take time out for holidays. We don't discriminate. We don't ask you for proof. And we don't tell you to go seek psych evals. Okay? But those ones that I just told you, Maine and Vermont, they've denied me for various reasons without proof or purpose. And that's an act of the devil. Those aren't people that reach out because God told them to. If that's what God told them to do, I don't want to be a believer. But what I can tell you is I'm a firm believer in Jesus. I'm a follower and I'm a leader. I follow him and I'm here to lead you. Have a great day.